What's up, guys? This is Mr. Madrid from the Mr. Madrid Show. Today, we don't really have a special guest. The special guest is yours truly, Mr. Madrid here. Hopefully, you guys had an amazing Thanksgiving break with friends, family, and enjoy some really good food. I know that I did. Um, I made the turkey. That's the usual tradition here at the Madrid household. And then the wife kind of takes control after that, which she went insane. I'm talking sweet potato casserole, potato salad, arroz con gandule, all that flavor, you know what I'm saying? And we had a really good one. Looking forward to the rest of the holidays and all that stuff. So I hope you guys had an amazing one. This one we're just gonna tag hashtag unsolicited advice. And typically when I'm talking to friends, I'm the type of friend that can't help himself. I will always tell you what you don't want to hear. And those are the kind of friends that you want to have around you, right? You want to have the friends that tell you the things that are tough uh, to hear. A lot of times we want people to agree with us, but I always feel like the best form of advice is the most honest one. And a lot of time, the most honest advice is that advice that's really tough to hear. And those are the times that you really have to embrace your friendships because it could make or break you. And hopefully, it will always make you a better person. And that's the reason why you chose to be in the friendship in the first place, right? Hopefully. But yeah, I'm the type of friend that when you come to me for, I'm not gonna even say advice. You just come to me to vent. I can't help myself because just the type of individual that wants to help you. I want to fix the issue. So you're probably on your side venting to me, and I'm over here whipping up all types of solutions and things of that nature. And that's why typically I say I'm going to give you my unsolicited advice because I know you didn't ask me for advice, or I think you didn't ask me. But here it is. So, we'll have these episodes here and there, hashtag unsolicited advice. And hopefully you guys gain something from it. I go through things just like anybody else, but anytime that I can offer some information, tips, and all that stuff, I'm all in. I would say the advice, unsolicited advice that I want to give you guys is something that I've said in another episode, where it's fuck with yourself heavy. And when I say that, what I mean by that is basically, you want to root for yourself. A lot of times, and I'm guilty of it too, I look to others for assistance, for guidance. And a lot of times, those people that, I'm going to say we, you and I, look towards for advice and things of that nature, they don't know what the hell's going on either. And I just think it gives us that reassurance that if they believe what they're talking about, maybe you believe it too, and taking that advice, you feel like you got backup in a sense, and you go for it. I am an individual that when I think about an idea, I have to go for it. I have to execute it, and I do execute it. Where if it was a graph and you see it, where the dips happen is when I start not believing in myself and I forget who. And excuse my French. I'm sorry if I curse here and there, but it's who I am. It's part of who I am. I'm a New Yorker, you know. But when I have those dips, it's usually when I'm not fucking with myself. And I know that may sound a little weird, but what I mean by it, in all seriousness, is fuck with yourself heavy. Means believe in yourself, champion for yourself, push yourself. Believing in yourself when nobody else does, when nobody else shows up for you, you show up for yourself. I would admit that even shooting this episode today was very difficult for me because I don't have somebody I'm interviewing, and you guys know you're not new to what I'm doing here. I'm 5 episodes in with this one, and the journey has been amazing, and hopefully I'm not jumping from topic to topic here, but the overall theme of it is just root for yourself, believe in yourself, believe in God. That's something that I hope I never forget to acknowledge. Everything I do is through God and my belief and my faith that I know that He has my back. And ultimately, not to get into the whole spiritual thing of the world and stuff. And I believe in God so strongly is because as an individual, I feel like we're all sinners. We're all prone to let each other down at one point or another. And I feel like I just got tired of people letting me down or me letting myself down. So I'm like, who better to go and seek advice from and faith and just build a relationship with than God? So that's what pushes me, what drives me now is like, even before starting this podcast today, I said a little prayer and I'm like, God help me out, guide me through this conversation with the people. Because ultimately I hope that he speaks through me and the things that I say can resonate at least to one person. And I know that sounds so cliche because that's what everybody says. If I could affect one person, then my life is made. But for me, that's true, and maybe it's not cliche. Maybe it's the truth because if I'm able to, affect one person that takes, some of my advice or my unsolicited advice into account, then this is way worth it, right? Um, but the reason I chose to talk about this is because everything that I'm doing, everything that I've done, I'm an individual that moved from New York to Florida 6 years ago. For I would say being here in Florida by myself with my family, two kids, two dogs, really solidified me as a man, and my wife as somebody who holds me down, as somebody who continuously she continues to guide me um, in directions and push me in places where I never thought I could go to, and that's all about fucking with yourself heavy, believing in yourself. So that way other people could pour into you. They see the potential that you have. They're like, damn, this person believes in what they're doing. And that's when you have people come around you and they pour into you and they're like, dude, let me help this guy out. Let me get some advice from this guy. This guy seems like he has something going on, like he has something. And that's why they say faith with no work doesn't go nowhere. So I believe in continuing to show up for myself, for my family, for God, and proving my worth in this world, and that I'm worthy for all the blessings. And I'm sorry if I'm jumping around here, but back to what I was saying. Fuck with yourself heavy. Believe in yourself. I wanted to give you guys an example. I always tell people stories of my kids. I think my kids are so inspirational, but most recently, we were in the kitchen. And my daughter, my 10-year-old Emma, she's really talking to my wife, but I'm nosy, I'm dad, so I'm all up in the atmosphere. And she says, "Hey, mom, I'm working for a friend of mine. She's 10. Talking about school stuff here. Her little friend has a little business where she makes bracelets. So she's like, Mom, I'm working for my friend, selling bracelets, you know, et cetera, et cetera." And it was so cool to see my wife just say, she's like, "You working for who?" She's like, "Oh, my friend." My wife was like, "No, you're not working for anybody. You need to learn to be your own boss, right?" Parentheses, fuck with yourself heavy. Believe in yourself. Believe you can do something. Don't be scared. So my daughter's like, How can I do that? This, that, and the third. Like she has all the materials. And then that's when dad comes in the picture. And I'm like, what is it? She's making bracelets out of this material. I don't have it. I said, okay, Emma, this is what we're going to do. How much would it cost for you to get your own setup? Fast forward, 15 bucks. I said, all right. So me and mom, we're going to loan you 15 bucks. You get it. As soon as you make those 15 bucks, you need to pay us back. And then everything else after that is pure profit. So she's like, hell yeah. So we went, got her the stuff she needed. She made a bunch of sales. And if any of you listeners, viewers, want to buy some of my little girl's bracelets, put it down in the comments, let me know. Because, she got a little business going on. But it's so cool to see that. Even at such a little, like in a young age of, you know, 10 years old, for her to go out and believe in herself enough to start her own little business, learn what it is. I even put her onto Sheets. Like Google Sheets is like an Excel thing that Google has. And I said, baby, you got to put your inventory, you got to put who you sold to, how much money, make sure you pay mom and dad back, all that good stuff. So I set her up with that, and it was so cool to see like the hustle in her, like I feel like my mom taught me how to be a hustler, how to go for mine, and not not in a reckless manner, but she like my mom was always like, "What you got to lose?" you know Forget about what anybody else says. So I go for mines. That's why at work I'm known as the guy that says, shoot your shot. My wife knows me as closed mouths don't get fed. I believe in all of that, and I strongly believe in fuck with yourself heavy, because you have to be your own champion. You have to be rooting for yourself. It's almost like you got to shoot the ball, sit at the bench, scream your name, run back for the rebound if you need to get it, be that whole. I'm making this more complicated than it should be, but you guys get what I'm saying. You really have to show up for yourself. And we all have areas of opportunity where we need to show up for ourselves and be more comfortable in being uncomfortable, you know? And I'm proud of my daughter. I'm proud of her. I'm proud of her mom for noticing that and seeing that as a learning opportunity, because had it not been for my wife saying that, my wife would have well, my daughter would have continued to be a worker. And I'm a big advocate of starting your own business. Like, I've started 3 businesses now. I had a pressure washing business, had a window cleaning business, um, then I had a woodworking business, and now I have this, my podcast, the Mr. Madrid Show. So, it's very important to believe in yourself, and I know I keep repeating that, but it's something that we all need to get embedded into our brain, because my wife says something to me, because sometimes I call people and I'm like, "Yo, I got this going on. I'm excited," and I don't feel or hear that excitement from them. And she says, "Babe, not everybody's gonna root for you all the time." Excuse me while I take a sip. Cheers to you guys. She says, "Not everybody's gonna root for you all the time. So when not everybody's gonna root for you, who's supposed to root for you? Who's supposed to really, advocate for you? You have to do it. You're like, I've seen where people like 50 Cent, people like Jay-Z, they talk about how their belief in themselves was so big that it almost comes across as arrogant, because it's like, in the beginning nobody's going to believe you, rightfully so, I guess, because you have improved yourself. Consistency, persistency, all that stuff needs to be a part of it, right? So if you're not showing up, and I'm not perfect to this. Your boy here didn't shoot an episode last week. That's on me, but I knew I had to show up tonight. You know what I mean? So it's you got to check yourself. You got to keep people around you that don't mind checking you, and that you respect them enough that they could pull your card, and give you some perspective on things that are going on. The last thing that I wanted to touch on too is, today my daughter wakes me up early as hell. You guys know, Sunday morning, nobody's trying to get up, and she's like, "Hey, daddy, can we have a daddy daughter date?" And she's been talking about it for a little while, and I also think that's super important for a parent, whether it's a mom or dad, to have those moments. Like, we have 2 kids, we have a lot going on all the time, full-time jobs and dreams and aspirations that we have going on. And my wife for her DIYs, you guys have heard about that before. But I'm like, you know what? Yeah, baby, let's go to Starbucks. We'll chill out there, grab a coffee. She loves the mocha frappuccino with no caffeine. So we go over there, super excited. She gets all dressed up, my beautiful baby, and we just sit down. And sidebar, I just really wanted to kick it with my daughter. Like, I realized, like, life is always going on, and I don't have those moments just to. And I told her this directly. I said, "Baby, sometimes it's beautiful and cool thing just to do something adults call shoot the shit." She's like, "Oh my god, Dad, you cursed." I'm like, "Yeah, I know, baby, but I just want you to know sometimes you just gotta shoot the shit. Just gotta have a conversation and talk about nothing. Get to know your own flesh and blood." So we just sat there. We talk about everything. She wants a cool setup, Christmas, Santa, all that good stuff. And during the end of the conversation, she's like, "All right, I'm ready to go to Target now." So, homegirl thought I was taking her shopping, which for those guys out there that have wives, we involuntarily become repeat visitors of Target. So I'm always in Target. My wife loves Target. Even if we go like window shopping, she's a happy camper. That's why I love my wife. So point is, my daughter's like, "Hey, Dad, let's go. I want to go to Target. I want to go walk around this, that, and the third." And maybe you guys disagree with me. Maybe you don't. But I took that moment to tell her like, maybe this is it. We came to Starbucks to have a little coffee, to talk. We were there for maybe an hour and a half, talking. She was showing me stuff on her phone and just getting to know my baby. She's 10 years old. Soon enough, she's not gonna want to have daddy daughter dates. So I was just like, nah, babe, we're not going to Target. She's like, why? I want to go look around. I want to walk around. I want to see stuff. And I'm like, babe, this really wasn't about that, about going out and going to a store. Like, I genuinely just wanted to hang out with you and talk to you and just share a coffee, a cookie, whatever it is with you. And that's all I wanted. I really wanted a date with you, a date with my daughter where we just share a cup of coffee and share a couple laughs and things like that. I told her, you really have to get into living in the moment. She said, what does that mean? So I'm not the greatest at explaining myself, but the emotion is there. But I was just telling her like, just live in the moment. Like right now, this moment that we have here is so precious and beautiful, and enjoy it. Enjoy that you're having a cup of coffee with your dad, like that everything is okay. Everybody's healthy for the most part. Nothing is right now crucially wrong with our world here. And I'm like, don't get into that rhythm of always feeling like you have to be on the go. You have to be doing something else. What's next? What are we doing? Let's go. Let's like sometimes you really just gotta chill. I said, and like my boy JP, not Morgan says, stop and smell the roses. And that, my friends, is a little bit of uh, experience that I had today with my daughter. And I hope that you guys too learn to sometimes enjoy the moment and not be too much in the move of work and life and going out and this, that, and the third. Sometimes you just gotta hit pause and just chill and just stop and acknowledge where you're at in life. It gives you perspective all around. Like, even if you're not where you want to be, if you're able to stop for a second and just acknowledge and take in the moment of where you're at, you can reassess and recalibrate what you need to in order to keep moving forward. Even if it's having a cup of coffee with a friend and through conversation you figure something out. Like, just stop and smell the roses sometimes. And at my daughter being 10 years old and being so on the go with the way society is now, I don't blame her, but as a parent, that's my job to give her a different perspective. And I stood my ground as a parent too, and I said, we're not doing that. We're gonna enjoy each other's company, and after this, we're gonna go home and hang out with the family. And that was it. It was hard. It's super hard for me to say no to somebody I love. Super hard. But I think there's a lesson to be learned for her and for anybody else. Enjoy the moment, especially when you're around loved ones, because you never know when they're not going to be there. You know. But that's the message for today. Number one, fuck with yourself heavy. Believe in yourself, regardless of anything. If you want to do something, do it. The power of manifestation is amazing. I manifested this look of my podcast. Sometimes I think it's just a little podcast. Sometimes I think it's an amazing podcast. But at the end of the day, I visualized this in my brain, and I went out and I got it done. The ability to go ahead and interview people and do virtual podcast episodes, and now doing one by myself. I'm talking to you folks, and I hope that I do strike somebody's interest and I touch somebody's heart, because I only have good intentions for this podcast. And yeah, like I said, first one is fuck with yourself heavy. And the second unsolicited piece of advice that I'm giving you guys is stop and smell the roses, quoted by my boy, JP Not Morgan. And until next time, tune in. I appreciate everybody's love. and support. Peace and love.